Hi people, welcome to my channel which is named Annie Psychology. So here I am today again with a new and a fresh start and with a fresh topic of psychology. So today I'm very excited because this topic is around half an hour long. This is a very deep knowledge and having very simple kind of language. You can easily understand it, but I am very excited today for this long topic. So let's start. So today's topic is fields of psychology, like different kinds of types of psychology and branches of psychology. There are having many kinds of psychological types. So, but wait, before that, I have a book suggestion for all you guys. A book I will suggest for you that you should go and buy it and you should read it. This is the book. This is Introduction to Psychology, which is written by Clifford Morgan, Richard King, John Weiss, and John Skopler. And Morgan and King, they are very famous in the psychological world because they have written this very famous book. This is very good book. This is having very simple. It is having very simple language that everyone can easily understand it. And from the basic to the end, it is very good book. I will give you suggestion that you should buy it if you want to buy it. So I have given the link in the below description box. If anyone is interested, you can go to the description box and you can open the link simply and buy it. So let's start today's topic. Let's see, it was fields of psychology. So let's start from the first field of psychology, which is behavioral psychology. Let's see what's that. So, behavioral psychology is the study of connection between our minds and our behavior. Behavioral psychology is also referred as behaviorism because behaviorism is the mainly called the connection between our minds and our behavior only. So, what our mind is giving the indication to our nature to behave something like a particular behavior, that our mind is stable or not at any kind of phase of time. So what our mind is giving are the indications to the body to behave any kind of particular behavior. So many kinds of there are behaviors that many people they behave not good. Sometimes they are behaving very aggressive, sometimes they are behaving very normal, happy. So this is kind of behaviorism. Many researchers and scientists and psychologists who study behavioral psychology, they are trying to understand that why every different person behaves very differently from the another person. So this is the behavioral psychology, the study between two human beings and why they are different, why they are like behaving different. So the psychologists who are working under behavioral psychology or under behaviorism, they are right now currently discovering the patterns in our actions and behaviors, that why we behave like this, why do we behave sometimes like this, why don't we behave the next time like this. So this is the behavioral psychology and this is the study of behaviorism. You can take an example of a child, that is someone who is not interested to go a school to the school. So parents bribe to the child that when you will come from the school, okay, we will give you the chocolate. So he is very interested and having an enthusiasm to go to the school because when he will come he will get a chocolate. So this is the behavior of a child, but another child, he will not satisfied from this chocolate bribe of the parents. So this is the behavior differences. So, okay, let's go to the second point, which is biopsychology. Let's see what's that. Biopsychology is very similar to the neurobiology and physiobiology. Actually, biopsychology, neurobiology, and physiobiology, they are co-jointly called as biological science. All these studies comes under the biological science. So I will tell you what is biopsychology. Biopsychology mainly works under the brain system, like genetics and mechanisms, organic process mechanisms of behavior in humans and also in animals also. So the biopsychology combines life with the study of science. Like mainly its focus is on the branch of brain, like nervous system, central nervous system, which is also called in the short form CNS, and neurons, nerves which are connected to the brain, to the body, and to the body, that what kind of indications are coming from the mind. So we will provide, the nerves provide to the body that okay, something is not going correct, so okay, we have to correct it. So biopsychology mainly works under the stream, under the branch of brain. So many psychologists who are biopsychologists, they are working under many kind of brain diseases who are affecting humans nowadays are very much, and brain injuries also, and they know how to treat them, and they know how to do research on the patient, on a particular patient who's having problems in his brain, like brain injuries or any kind of brain disease which is affecting him a lot. So biopsychologists work is this, to see the effect of the brain injuries and brain diseases and to treat them on a human patient. And I will tell you that many of the psychologists, they say behavioral neuroscience. They have referred this biopsychology as behavioral neuroscience, that it is basically only related to the neuro part of the human, which is called only brain. So let's go to the third field of the psychology, which is called clinical psychology. Let's see what's that. So, clinical psychology is where patients having some kind of psychological disorder or any kind of psychological problem, they come and they visit this branch for medications and drugs. Because they know the medication and drugs which a psychiatrist is providing them, it will help them to improve their situation a lot. So the clinical psychologist, which is also called as psychiatrist, normally holds a PhD degree or a MA degree in science, related any kind of degree related to science, not an art stream. An art stream person, he cannot be a psychiatrist, because a psychiatrist can only be the person who's holding a MA degree or a PhD degree or any kind of doctorate degree in medical science. Only a person who is psychiatrist or anyone who has taken his or her main subfield only, like in science only he or she can be a psychiatrist. Only a person who has taken mainly science in their stream, only he can be the psychiatrist. A psychiatrist is who holds a MD degree or a MBBS degree. Only he or she is allowed to prescribe drugs and medications to the other patients, because a normal person who has done art stream, he can be called a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist is only allowed to prescribe the drugs under the clinical psychology. So the patients who are having major kinds of problems, major psychological problems, they come and they visit the psychiatrist, because they know he will provide the medications and drugs which will help them, which will improve their problems and their situations a lot. So the mainly conclusion of the clinical psychology is that the clinical psychology basically comes under the patients who are having major psychological disorders or problems, and providing the medications, the proper medications and the drugs to the patient and helping their situations. So let's go to the fourth field, which is called counseling psychology. Let's see what's that. So the counseling psychology, whatever I have written in my time period of the psychological study, is like counseling psychologist, which is also called as psychologist. Psychologist can be the person also who has taken only art stream. It is not mandatory for a psychologist to take medical stream like clinical psychology. So the counseling psychology is where the counseling psychologist only gives advice, motivation, inspiration, and counseling to the milder, we will not say milder, also the major psychological patients, as who are coming to the counseling psychologist to have some kind of advices and to have soothness of their soul for the counseling. So the counseling psychologist can be the one who is not holding a MD or any kind of science related degrees, so he can't prescribe drugs like clinical psychologist can. Counseling psychologist cannot prescribe drugs because he's not holding any kind of medical degree, and he is not allowed to prescribe any kind of drugs. And if he is caught while prescribing the drugs, so he is or her career can be ruined for this mistake of him. So this was counseling psychology, and counseling psychologists also use various kind of tests to measure humans aptitude, which is called also interest, behavior, personality, and characteristics of the patients, by knowing him more and helping him to improve by counseling sessions his problem, whatever the problem he is going through. And as I told you that counseling psychology is having various kind of tests, so the psychologists, they do test only to know the patient, that what the patient is having, their hobbies, what is his behavior, what kind of behavior he does when he is in this phase of time, what kind of the point is there to trigger him, what kind of thing, characteristics of the patient. And humans aptitude is checked by brain. So okay, let's go to the fifth point, which is called cognitive psychology. Let's see. So what's that? This field of psychology mainly works to see what and how and why and when our cognitive motors are situated in the mind. It is not directly seen anywhere, but it is indirectly situated in our mind only. Cognitive motors, why and how and what and when the cognitive motors are working, and in what condition are they perfect, are they positive, or if they are negative. So any patient, they have to be seen by a psychologist. So cognitive motors, I will tell you, like cognitive motors such as, you can say, attention, thinking process, what kind of thinking a person is having, learning, how fast a person can learn, how slow a person can learn, gaining, thinking, memories, language, mother language, speech disorders, if someone is having speaking, intellectualizations, and remembering some things, decision making, if someone is very confused about something, emotions, motivations, and problem solving, if person is suffering from any kind of situation. So what kind of he will do the solve, what kind of solving he will do that he can come out of from the situation. So all these things comes under the cognitive motors. Cognitive motors is also very important part of a human being, because this is very important, like as I told you, speaking, intellectualization, language, thinking, remembering, motivation, problem solving, decision making is very important in our lives. So cognitive psychology is the field where psychology mainly works to see what and how our cognitive motors are working, and in what condition. If it is not working correctly and in positive way, so the psychologist will help you to make the situation normal, and make your cognitive motors perfectly fine, and make you a fine person who is not having any kind of cognitive problem. So let's go to the sixth field of psychology, which is called experimental psychology. So experimental psychology, this branch lays down under working for brain functions and its abilities. This is also, you can say, same as experimental cognitive. Yeah, this is same as cognitive psychology, because the cognitive psychology also works under the brain system, as I told you right now before earlier. This is cognitive motors. And experimental psychology also works for the brain function and its abilities. So many psychologists working for this field normally use various kinds of tools and methods and machines, newly technologies, innovations to research about the patient's mind and brain and behavior. They just directly go inside the humans, the patient's brain, by various techniques, by helping hands, by tools, technologies, machines, and newly methods which are coming in the stream, and innovations that help the psychologist to get to know what is going inside the patient's mind, what he is thinking inside in his brain. So this is experimental psychology. The psychologists do the experiment on a patient while using various kinds of things and techniques and tools and methods and innovations to see what a patient, why he came here and why he is going through such kind of disorder or a problem. So the psychologist, he does many kinds of experiments to the patient. And as you all know, if we will not do any kind of thing, any kind of test in practical language, in a practical field, so we will not get to know more about the particular thing. So as well as same in the medical science, in the science field, that experiment is very important for any doctor or any kind of psychologist, whether he is clinical psychologist, counseling psychologist, or any kind of comparative psychologist, sociologists. So experiments are very important, so that's why experiment psychology is there. So let's go on the seventh subfield of psychology, which is comparative psychology. Let's see. This field is surrounded by the study of similarities and differences between like behavior and mindsets among living beings. Like living beings are also human beings and animals and many kinds of birds. So mainly from bacteria also to the plants also to the humans also and to the animals also. Comparative psychology mainly is doing differences, differentiates, and similarities between the human and the animal, what kind of comparisons they are doing. The process particularly pays attention to the psychological nature of human beings in comparison with other animals. Okay, sometimes we are compared that we were homo sapiens. Homo sapiens is the ancient of humans, as we all know. If we study deeply, homo sapiens were our ancients all only. They were not any kind of others. So we, that is called that homo sapiens were kinds of apes and chimpanzees. So we are uh, our ancients were like this homo sapiens. So that's why this is comparative psychology. This is mainly worked under the animals only, animals and bacteria or any kinds of plants also, which is working under I can say zoology also, and anthropology also. Yeah, I think so. This is comparative psychology, doing comparisons between humans and animals, living beings. They both are living beings, but sometimes also they pay attention on the bacteria things also, bacteria and plants we cannot consider them as living beings. So comparison is between the human beings and the animals, both living beings. So this is comparative psychology. So here I have completed 7 subfields of the psychology, 7 branches of psychology. Now we will go towards 8th field of psychology. This is development psychology. So development psychology deals with how, why, and when, and what kinds of development different individuals, different human beings go through their lifetime, and basically doing research and giving theories on them. Only researcher and psychologists and scientists, they can only give the research, and they can only give the theories, and they can only do the research on many kinds of people who are having development problems, like we can say in child, like for example a malnutrition child. We can take an example of my malnutrition child. That malnutrition child is not having that much kind of good development qualities that a normal child in a normal house, in a normal environment he is having. So this is development psychology, only deals with why different kinds of people, every people in this world, they are having different kinds of development. So someone is having good development in their body, in by them mentally, physically, they are strong, but somehow there is another person and another individual who is not that much mentally and physically strong. He cannot run, someone can run. He cannot learn the languages correctly, but someone can learn. So this comes under the development psychology. So why people, why individuals, why human beings, they develop differently. This is, and this subfield can also go through in animals also, living beings and animals also are living beings. So in animals also there are development. So in development psychology, this is all the field where the development is checked by the developmental psychologist, and they are also very very important. So let's go to the ninth field of psychology, which is educational psychology. Educational psychologists are especially concerned with increasing the efficiency of learning in schools or universities and other kinds of institutions, which is laid under education, as well as by applying their psychological knowledge about learning and motivation education to the curriculum. Like educational psychologists, they help the students or the teachers in any schools, in any institution related to the education, that why someone is having any problem in learning, why a student he cannot learn correctly, he's not gaining good marks, good percentages in the examinations, but another person, another student, he's very sharp and he can attain a good percentage. So this is the psychologists, they study how different student has different and opposite mindset, that a student is very sharp but another student is like almost getting fail in all the subjects. So this is educational psychology. Educational psychologists, they help to the students and to the teachers also. Sometimes if the teachers, they are having some kind of problems while teaching, to the students and solving the disabilities of the students or teachers and teachers as well. So this is educational psychology, which is mainly under the education part of the life. And educational psychology is also related, is also very similar to the school psychology. I will come to that point also. The school psychology is also the field of psychology, some number of field of psychology, but this is here. Educational psychology is this, where psychologists are especially concerned with increasing the efficiency, the power, the like improving their ability to learn more and to gain good marks and to have a good future. So the 10th field of psychology is forensic psychology. Forensic psychology, as you have also listened, forensic name which comes under law only. So this field, which is forensic psychology, deals with issues related to the law. Forensic psychology, you can say, applies psychological principles, psychological methods to help and resolve legal issues. Like, for example, I will give you example of providing testimony in court cases, assessing children in suspected child abuse cases. There are many child abuses cases in the world. Meeting the criminals and doing sessions with them, like what kind of thinking, mindsets, behavior they're having that they have done this crime, knowing criminals past life, what their life was, what their life is, and their history, their parents, their house, where they are, and what. Evaluating the mental competence of criminal suspects, like they will gather some suspects of any kind of crime scene, and the psychologist, the forensic psychologist, he will help to see the behavior of every suspects, and to like suspiciously seeing that who can be the criminal. So forensic psychology is very important for the people who are working under the law, under the criminal law. This is the forensic psychology. Like forensic psychologist, he meets so many kinds of criminals in their lives. So this is very hectic kind of situation, hectic kind of profession, but this is very, 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 very good. I seriously like to go in this field. I am very interested to go towards this career, towards this profession only. In psychology, I have chosen only forensic psychology because this is my favorite kind of field in all this. So nothing else, just I'm telling you my personal thing. Okay, let's go to the 11th field of psychology, which is health psychology. Health psychology is field in which psychologists and scientists and researchers, they do by the psychological theories they have given and research on health, illness, and sectors of healthcare. Like sectors of healthcare, we can say institutions of healthcare, hospitals, clinics, etc., etc. And basically, health psychology comes under the illness and health of the patient. Yeah, so it is concerned with range of health related behaviors also, and doctor patient relationship, like if a patient is coming to the doctor, so how he is being with the doctor, and doctor how he is being with the patient, they are good or not, they are having harmony in their relationship or not. So health psychologists are also interested in improving health across a wide variety of domains like in all over the world. They are very interested to make this as their career. Health psychologist I'm talking about, and they want to like improve health across a wide variety of domains, and they are very interested to help the people all over the world. And many health psychologists, you can say, like they are helping the health organizations. Health organizations in the world, there are many health organizations, such as, you can say, the very famous WHO, World Health Organization, and many more like World Health Assembly, UNICEF, we can say World Food Program, Global Health Council, and many more there are. So health psychology basically lays down under the health sector of the world. Health psychologists, they are very important for us also, because whatever it's happening like health related problems, we can go to the health psychologist also, because health psychologist is mainly holding a MD, MBBS, or any kind of MA and PhD degree or doctorate degree in medical science. So they are mainly considered as doctors only. Let's go to the 12th point, It is industrial and organization psychology. This is very different kind of field of psychology, because this is uh, psychologically they use their principles applied to practical problems of work and commerce situations like MNCs, commerce companies, and work. So industrial and organizational psychology, which is also in short form, it's called IO psychologist. IO psychologist means industrial and organizational psychologist. They study topics such as worker attitudes, what kind of attitude a worker is having in the company, employee behaviors. There are so many hundred of employees or thousand of employees in an MNC. So what kind of behavior they are having, they're pursuing, and organizational processes and leadership, HR development, HR department. HR means human resources also. So all these IO psychologists, they work under this process. How people they are interacting with the products and with the machines at workplace, are they safe or not, helping design products which will minimize the injury or the workplace accident. Like you can see, there are many accidents in the workplace also by the machines to the employees, so they minimize it, the IO psychologists, and they promote greater accuracy. Like they provide the security to the employees that nothing will happen to you. We have already done everything, we have promoted everything for your accuracy and for your security. And improving safety is very important for an IO psychologist in this field, in industrial and organizational field, sorry. So, human factors and IO psychologists who are working under human factors, they are also considered as industrial and organizational psychologists because the work is same. So now 13th field, which is personality psychology. So personality psychology can be considered same as development psychology, because development is also the part of personality only. Personality and development, they are similar very much, because they both contain similarities of personality and development methods. Personality psychology aims to show how people are different from each other. Like two people, like if we stand with a person, so we are not like that person. Our personality, like it's not only in physical but only in mental. So like physically we are tall, but the person who is standing in front of us, he is short. But in mental kind, like in mental personality psychology, if we see, like if we are standing in front of a person, he's having a very good sense of humor, like he's laughing, he's doing jokes. But instead, we are standing here, we are not liking his company because we are not in so much sense of humor, like we don't like so much jokes, so we will not like to be with that person, or okay, we are very different from that person. So every personality is very different. So the personality psychology lays down under to see and to research about various kinds of personalities of people. And personality psychologists might study how different factors such as genetics, as I told you in development psychology, also parenting, childhood, like what was the childhood that made our personality like this. Was our childhood good? Was it harmony? Was it having in peace? We were happy or not? If we were happy, then our mental personality will be more good. And social experiences also, what happened in the society, influence each personality. Every personality is very different, every mental state is very different, every behavior and nature is different. So personality psychology comes under this. 14th is 14th field of psychology is school psychology. As I told you, school psychology is very much similar and very related to the educational psychology, as I told you in the ninth point also. This field is same as educational psychology, but the difference is school psychologists only work for school system, only works in elementary or secondary or upper secondary schools. But the educational psychologist, he will work under the universities also, schools also, and the institutions which is related to education. So school psychologist basically, it helps the students who are having some difficulties and disabilities in studying, in learning, and also the teachers, the disabilities of the teacher if they are having to teach the students. So most school psychologists work in elementary and secondary and upper secondary schools. if any teacher or if any student is occurring problem, so a school psychologist will be eager to help their situation and to improve their situation by counseling, or if he is also holding a psychiatrist degree, doctorate degree, so he can also prescribe the medications after seeing all the history of the student and of the teacher. So this was school psychology. This is very much related to the educational psychology, so you can consider school and education psychology as same. Just the difference is school psychologists only work under the school system, and the educational psychologist, it works under all the institutions but should be under education. So here we have completed 14 points, 14 fields of psychology. Now only 3 left. So here we have successfully completed 14 fields of psychology. So just have a little patience more. Now only 3 more fields, then it will be end. Let's see the 15th one. So 15th one is social and community psychology. The primary forces of social and community psychology. Social and community is same, I will tell you. So that's why I'm saying you social and community psychology in a same point. So social psychology is on understanding how every human being are affected by other people. For example, if we are going in a party and we saw someone who is dressing like, for example, we are saying if we go in a party and we see a person, he's dressing in a very good manner, and if we see ourselves, we will say that, oh my god, just we are in a normal casual outfits. Just I'm giving you the example, we are in a normal casual outfits, and the person who's in front of us, he's having a very good, like, dramatic kind of clothes. Okay, we should also wear. So when we will go to the next party or the second party held, so we will wear only the dramatic and we will try to copy that person. So this is social psychology, is where we are going, where we are sitting, the social perceptions, social group behaviors, socializing with the people, neighbors and relations, our relatives, friend circles. Sometimes we are aggressive or not, sometimes we are having comfortability with them or not. So there are many kinds of emotions we can also feel, like angriness by someone, by any kind of society. We will feel also compatibility with anyone, or we will feel loved by something. So this is the primary force. That's why I told you of the social psychologist, is to understand why any kind of behavior any individual is affected by someone, or any kind of group discussions also. So this was social psychology, and social psychologists, they are also called sociologists. 16th field of psychology is sports psychology. Sports psychology addresses performance and well-being, behavior and mindsets of athletes. Athletes who are playing for, as you can say, Olympics and many kinds of sports events. So the sports psychologist, his work is to see what kind of behavior, what kind of mindsets of athletes it's having. Are they having good development or not? Developmental and social aspects of particular in sports. There are so many participators who come in sports that they want to make their career. So first of all, they have to be under the sports psychologist analyzation. Sports psychologist analyzation is where every athlete is charged under their behavior, their mindsets, their nature, what kind of development they are having, developmental aspects. And so many athletes, they are checked by their mental health, emotional well-being, what kind of emotional state they are going through, what kind of family history they are having, relation with their performance, how much they are hard working for their goal, for their sports performance, and with sports organization as well. The relationship of the athlete with the sports organization as well is very important. Sports psychologists also work sometimes with the coaches of the athletes, because coaches are very, very, very much influenced and we have a great influence of our coaches. Athletes, they have a great influence of their coaches, because to improve their proficiency and their mental agenda towards their students, that they should make their students like world's best. And that's why sports psychologists, they are also working under the coaches also, that to make their mindset and to make their proficiency, to make them best teacher for their participators and their athletes. And the last one, which is 17th last field of psychology, is environmental psychology. Environmental psychology is, we can say, the scientific study of the transactions and the interrelationships between people and their surroundings, we can say, which will include natural environments such as our environment, our greenery and our trees. The use and abuse of nature, we can say, a very big example is cutting the trees for making roads and houses and mountains. And natural resources and sustainability is very important for the interrelationship between people, between a human being and a nature. Because nowadays you can see so many people and so many government organizations, they are ready to cut the trees because they are making, in our city they are making metro right now. So metro stations and for the metro fields, they are cutting so many trees. And whenever I see that, I feel like, what is happening in this our world? So many trees are being cut for like making places for homes, for roads, and in hill areas for mountains. So this is not a very positive thing. So environmental psychology is all about relation between people and the environment, what we should do for our environment, what is our responsibilities to take care of the environment. So this is all about environmental psychology. So here I have completed all the 17 fields of psychology. There are only 17 fields of psychology, and I have completed all that. And the last one was environmental psychology. So if you want to go through the Google also, if you want to search about fields of psychology, you will find, the like they will say you there are only 4 fields of psychology and there are only 8, but this is not like that. There are only 17 kinds of psychology, fields of psychology. So this was it. I have completed all the fields of psychology. I hope you liked it. I know this is a very long video. This the duration takes time, but this was, I was making from past 2 days, and I was working on this. I was gaining all the knowledge and education about this to make you guys people uh, watch it. And thanks for watching. I hope you like it, and I hope you have a very great day. Thank you. Bye bye.